Things literally could not have gone worse for the Memphis Grizzlies last year, and you don't have to be a Zach Lowe-level basketball analyst to figure out why. It begins and ends with injuries. In terms of total player games lost to injury, the Grizzlies led the league with nearly 600 games. That's nearly twice the number of games as the second most injured team, the Portland Trail Blazers. And the most injured Grizzly of all was none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Ja Morant.
Welcome everybody, my name is Troy and this is the Half Court Report. Be sure you click that thumbs up button and subscribe for some of the best NBA content that you're gonna find on YouTube.
It's all about Memphis. Memphis, the most beautiful land in the world. Ja Morant only played 9 games last season due to a 25-game suspension from off-the-court issues and then a devastating shoulder injury that put him on the proverbial shelf for the rest of the season. And as much as the Memphis Grizzlies tried, injuries to Ja and other key players were just too much to overcome, so taking a gap year and basically punting last season was the best option. They were forced to change their strategy from trying to win games to auditioning players from the G League who might one day help them win. When it was all said and done, the Grizzlies finished the year 27-55, despite having 2 seasons with 50 wins each. Guys, they were merely an NBA team in name only. However, the Grizzlies were able to prioritize the growth of their younger players despite this roster turnover. So in that regard, their season was not an absolute failure. Gigi Jackson and Vince Williams were discovered as key pieces to the team's future. Jaren Jackson Jr. got some run as a number 1 option. The Grizzlies were bad enough to get a lottery pick, and we learned there is an NBA player actually named Malzina Pereira.
What?
But let's talk more about Ja Morant. If you ask me, Memphis will be a top 2 or 3 seed this upcoming season. And that's because Morant is so special that he is worth the occasional issues with his immaturity. He still managed to score over 25 points and dish out over 8 assists per game last year, despite some obvious rust coming back after that 25-game suspension. Morant is the only guard, with the exception of Steph Curry, who alters the way the game is played when he's out on the floor. Morant compacts the defense by being a dominant interior scorer, while Curry stretches the defense with his shooting. Defenses are forced to cover more ground by Curry shooting. They're unable to cover it all due to Morant's slashing. He scored more points at the rim per 100 possessions than any guard or wing in the last 2 healthy seasons that he played. Because Morant is too fast for his initial defender to contain, the Grizz have a permanent advantage in numbers because he can simply blow past his on-ball defender. Monitoring him is a 5-man job, requiring layers of help to safeguard Morant from getting inside. Bigs need to be ready to help at the rim to stop him, which means wings need to drop to help the helper, and guards need to rush to open shooters to help even more. So the Grizzlies are at the best with Ja Morant, and the numbers back it up. They averaged 114.2 points per 100 possessions in their 9 games with Ja last year, and in the 73 games that he missed, their offensive rating was 107.3, one of the worst in recent memory. Morant plays with the same explosive momentum as much bigger players, such as Giannis Antetokounmpo, Zion Williamson, and Sagana Diop. That's because he's an unstoppable slasher. He can just run and dunk. As a result, Morant gives the offense a unique shape by allowing the Grizzlies to use their big men in more creative ways. Because Morant assumes some of their traditional scoring responsibilities, Jaren and Gigi Jackson can enjoy their one-on-one scoring opportunities. Santi Aldama, Luke Kennard, and Desmond Bane can spread the floor. Zach Edey can work on being the next Shaquille O'Neal, and John Conchar can simply be jitty. Morant has occasionally struggled to extend his regular season output into the postseason. After all, during the playoffs, defenses will concentrate more on Morant and force the Grizzlies to be more of a jump shooting team, and they'll put as many bodies as possible between Ja and the rim. In the playoffs against Minnesota in 2022, he shot under 39% So he was clearly bothered by the defense and the secondary rim protection. The Lakers held him to just 42% shooting in 2023 when the Grizzlies were defeated in the first round. However, Morant will now return to the court with the best and most adaptable roster of his career. Memphis has the size and skill to adapt to any postseason challenge for the first time. Jaren and Bane, both scorers who average 20 points per game, are going to punish defenses that load up to stop Morant. Memphis has 2 Defensive Player of the Year winners in Jaren and Marcus Smart to make up for his sometimes lackadaisical defense. Aldama, Jake LaRavia, Gigi Jackson, Vince Williams, and others make up a great group of young, feisty forwards. Brandon Clark is back to his pre-injury self, and Scottie Pippen Jr. is looking like the next Tyus Jones, but with a better jumper. And then Zach Edey, he is literally too big to fail. In this way, Memphis made the most of Morant's absence by creating a roster that would make the most of his presence. The difference between the Grizzlies and the Oklahoma City Thunder, a young team that they're often compared to, is basically non-existent. And frankly, it's a little insulting when people talk about how good the Thunder are and completely discount the Grizzlies. Guys, that's what I think, but let me know in the comments, how do you see the Grizzlies faring this year? And if you're a Grizzlies fan, I expect a comment. Since you've watched this far, make sure you drop a like for the YouTube algorithm and hit that subscribe button too so you never miss another NBA video from me. And if you're a Grizz fan, you gotta watch the video that I recently did featuring Ja and Zach Edey working out together. This is some amazing footage, and it gets me so hyped for the upcoming season as a Grizz fan. Make sure you check that out. Let me know what you think. Check out my pinned comment, and I will catch you next time on the Half Court Report.